meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. Now, hundreds of these brave freedom fighters who came to our country trusting us to look after them and help them in their struggle against colonial oppression, and believing as we do that Africa and the struggle for freedom is indivisible. These brave men and women have been sent back, bag and baggage, by this traitorous clique to the countries from which they had fled to seek refuge.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, a very good morning to you, and you're welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and well, it's a holiday edition of the program, but well, founders, we still have a program. We have a nation to build, right? So you're welcome. Apologies for how I sound. I'm not feeling too good, so please, if you detect any change in my voice or my whole demeanor, pardon me. So it's a holiday and all the papers are gone on holidays, but we also have headlines to deal with. We have NRASA to conduct road safety audits amid rising concerns. We have let's remain committed to ideals of founding fathers. Dr. Baumia is speaking. Boku, National Security Minister, receives 6 million Ghana cedis monthly to tackle crisis. Ayarga is the one making these allegations, Member of Parliament for Boku Central. Ghana's economy, other sectors doing well despite post-independence challenges. Nanado, the president, a Japadia document being implemented, not fabricated. Mahama is also adding his voice to the ongoing debate. Achimota Land, University of Ghana staff, other residents vow to resist eviction by alleged private developer. Well, they vow to resist, but I think the ejection is ongoing because the private developer allegedly has gone into the forest midnight to demolish the equipment. $34.9 million ambulance contract. We can't be intimidated by your bogus threats. Ablakwa to SGHEL. We also have headlines that says CPP Akufo-Addo's statement on Nkrumah, an unfortunate gaffe. The presidency is the headquarters of misinformation. Mahama. Well, these and other headlines that we have to deal with, but before we take a breather, let me just remind you of what offer MTN has for you this month. Remember, last month was July. It was the SME month from MTN. This time, whether you are an SME, startup, large enterprise, or educational institution, Microsoft 365 Education, Business and Enterprise are the cutting-edge solution you need to streamline operations and enhance educational capabilities. So from top-notch email services to dynamic CRM tools and collaborative platforms, we've got you covered. So sign up to any MTN Business Microsoft solution and unlock exclusive access to additional services like WebWiz and Business Messenger. Now, all at unbeatable prices. It's a complete digital transformation package tailored to fuel your success. Email us at mtnbusiness.gh@mtn.com or WhatsApp or call on 0244308111 to explore how we can empower your business. Hashtag let's get business done better. And this is a package coming from MTN. Also, I'm still reminding you of Kel 360 toothpaste. If you're desperate of getting toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money, the recommended one for you is Kel 360 toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. And also, toothpaste is actually approved by the Food and Drugs Authority and provides your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day, freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults as well. So let your family be proud when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Now, it brightens your tooth and prevents cavity, and also with the cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. So for consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. And it's a product from Samara Company Limited, available on all supermarkets. Call them on 024-686-798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Lift and Elevator is also still on the market, and it says that enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. So the pains of climbing stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages. Now, worry no more, because Lift and Elevators have got you covered, and they have the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market. It's simple, self-supported elevator for both homes and offices. Guess what? It also can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in custom-made modules, and also can be fitted within just 3 days, and you have it. So, lift and elevators is at Sakumon, located at Sakumon, or call them on 0200-535-515 or send them an email on elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions and easy vertical movement. Now, on this note, let me just breathe a bit. I'll be back shortly and we'll start chatting.
Again.
Hello, thank you for calling MTN.
This is Jerry, Jolly J for short.
How may I help?
I'm not happy with you guys at all. You've been giving Bongo gifts all the time.
Who is Bongo?
Oh, Bongo, my friend. He purchased in my room.
Oh.
You've been giving free gifts, but I don't.
That's MTN rewards, sir. Talk, text, browse, and more, and you get to redeem free call time or data by simply dialing *550#. And on Fridays, you can even get extra special rewards like food vouchers, shopping discounts, and much more.
Didn't tell me anything, no. Would you like to know how I got the name Jolly J?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Jolly. Calling customer care service doesn't give you points.
I'm gonna call my mom. I'll call my grandma. And I'll call my ex. That girl can talk, Papa. Hello, Mama. So what's the topic for today?
MTN.
Rise and shine. It's another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Watch is Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watch is Friday, it's still on point. For your bread, it's creamy. For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread, it's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Judy said we use Cal 360 toothpaste.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Cal 360 did the one. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually on my number, still.
One of them give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What lost of so give us here and don't come down.
What's over that song? But tomato give us the and some down.
Give us a bad mixture.
If I try the and some down.
Customer. Give us that down.
Onuya kayo oba wa fa furo nom de o ma no banu fo nom akwada wa ni fie dumie no ono nso nom
Get blast boom. It's exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
Are you looking to own a prime piece of litigation-free land where you can put up your dream family home or your ideal getaway retreat within a luxurious estate? Then look no further. Welcome to Rehoboth Hills, where your dream of hassle-free land ownership comes to life. Acquire land devoid of multiple purchases, litigation, and land guard issues in a safe and secure gated community while enjoying the fabulous night view of Accra from the serene Ebri Mountains. Rehoboth Hills offers spacious plots that provide you with the ideal setting for your dream home and a valuable, safe investment for your future. The lands are located in the prime area of Ayarifa within our residential development Rehoboth Hills, overlooking the city of Accra and the Ebri Mountains. Our prices are very affordable and designed to fit your budget. We offer flexible payment terms, ensuring that you can invest in a valuable asset for the future. Contact us on 0244 764 499 or 0204-950-810 or visit our website at www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Here is to the friends who took the chance with no regrets. Investors no more hated fortune. To the health workers who diagnosed Lacks every move, and then to the hard guy who couldn't hold his emotions, to the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy, to the seamstress who turned her hand-earned stitches into a bundle of joy. And now, here is to you. Your next big win is right here. From 1st July 2024, dial *712# Aquaswato tickets as a group individual to win in the community draw or the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with *712#.
By the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Gilo G. Gilo G. Ina du Gina. Fika na chiji ina.
Mena nyanko jiga. Wanya jeshi danu yung lodi. Chung chinya le voters register man.
Inkoka. Register ka.
Electoral Commission amachato ofe. Depa jadrado wawade 2024. Amachacha wanangwa. Voters register. Buga dadi. Nabai ji unko akpo. To blaragbe 20th August. Basere blaragbe 27th August 2024. Tonti gandrama. Basere trogadama bashiagbe.
Kajaba ma imagine yanko fifila. Jilo. Jiwo onkolo. Jiwo onkolo.
Ejepe na jiwo jeshi danu yung lodi le voters register man. Eye na hiabe wawodododo wa. Ejepe na nya wakota fe. Polling station. Atengwa titrede ama yo panko majabo no kota balamo wofu mato yo magavalio ejabo wade opanko da le voters register man
jebe mo ba jinyu ko la balama fifi lai
jilo
ji
gake ejebe na nyagbe magbe plaga foko mame
jilo ji jiwo kolo
dongo na 2024 general election electoral commission amacha don ofe avu voters register adadi ba me de shade na kpo menue gbogbo be wonto eyi aji wo jesidenu yo daddy chongo le voters register vuvu daddy eyi yoma to blaragbe 20th August basere blaragbe 27th August 2024 so ndi gandre basere retro gadan gbe siagbe agatenwa wonu ya okatan to mobubuji ama yo nlonko adako a watenwa ji ope jesidenu nlodi oka no taxi de *711*51# le network de share de ji ama yo ope ID card bu alo umanya fi yo le watenwa yi exhibition center aji ope jesidenu yo nlodadi exhibition officer o watenwa kperenwo na ji wo jesidenu yo nlodadi no voter ID card malio ha akodala yi jebe wadako atenwa chitrede nkode fe jesidenu yo nlodi anwu kude amade nwu to amoya ojibe ama amachio ama anye dukobubu mato ama afa susumele de dio ama amanye ama yobe yenye ama amanye tafama cholao
jilo
ji wakodada yenye wo chome.
Right, you're welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and it's the Founders Day edition of Good Morning Ghana. Today in the studio, we have Louisa Kwache, who is a member of the NDC, and she's already joined us in the studio. Louisa, you're welcome. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're not on a campaign trail with the former president?
No.
I mean, your flag bearer?
No.
Okay, but you're following?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, we are following.
Excited.
Some of our female communicators who are aides to him are on the trail. So someone like Beatrice Annan is with him. So we get all the reportage on our platforms, and then we follow keenly. So he is up north, and then somewhere in the week, the vice presidential candidates are running mates. Professor Nana was also in the central region.
Right.
So we followed keenly as they engage with people, and then try to delve into their messages and how best we can interpret it to Ghanaians.
I noticed she was excited when the news was broke to her that actually somebody, was it Joyce, I think, spoke into her ears, telling her that the affirmative action bill had been passed, and she was excited.
Exactly, because that is all she's been about for a long while. And then for most of us who are in politics, I believe that equity should be the name of the game. Though equality is something we all aim for, but without equity, there will be no equality.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions about that, but hold on. Let me introduce officially Grace Enima Boateng. She's government spokesperson on infrastructure and also a member of the MPP communications team. You're welcome officially to Good Morning Ghana.
Good morning.
It's very nice to have you.
Same here.
Right. So I just want to pick your thoughts on the affirmative action bill. And actually, the question I want to ask is, are women, and I say I dare ask, let me just lay that foundation before anybody takes me out of context. I dare ask, are women ready for equity with men?
This is a very tough question.
I'm sorry.
I think to some extent we are in terms of governance and then national policies, public service, we are, because we can have the opportunity as equal to our men. When you look at our representation in Parliament, here in Ghana, women parliamentarians constitute about just 15% of the 275 seats in Parliament. And then when you look at the United Nations
Convention,
we need to. There's a percentage that women have to meet. That is 30% representation in every sphere of our daily activities, and we are woefully behind the 30%. So I was very happy when the affirmative action bill was finally passed last week. You know, it's been lingering from 1998, and almost about 30 years now, 26 years now. So finally it's here. And it also seeks to break some patriarchal norms against women in the society. You know, previously, in the olden days, women were not given an opportunity at the table of decision making. My brother will tell you, the world is a men's world. It does not belong to women. It favors men more. So we seek to also come out of our shells and do very well. I was on a show with one woman, and she was talking about the fact that women need to do 10 times better to match up with men in terms of pursuing education or any other field. When the men can just get up and then take a bath and just go out and go about their activities. But then as a woman, you need to.
I'm told that they're having a problem with your microphone.
We're losing out on everything you're saying. Okay, so let me start with Louisa as we try to fix hers. Right. So Louisa, I think I have a take. I'll come back to her. Grace.
Okay. So with the affirmative action, you would agree with me that we've all been in and about the fact that we want a lot of women representation in public sector, and then we want a lot of women who deserve it to be given the opportunity. It is quite disheartening that I sat in a room on an interview panel and a couple of women walked in with men. Then one woman was very eloquent and on top of issues. So on my score sheet, she was the number one. and a couple of others too. So when we did the rating, she was on top. But surprisingly, one guy just said, "Oh, your pentamako baby, I no be maker." So I asked him a question: are we looking for the job being done or the appearance of somebody? And this morning, you look so beautiful, even though I can see that you are struggling a little with cold, but you are made up. The men who come on set equally get their faces touched. So I want to ask, the fact that the men get their faces touched doesn't mean they don't get the work done? Probably the job description, they have to look presentable. And everybody and how they feel in their skin. So if I want to present myself in a way, probably have foundation on my face, it should not affect how I'm perceived as being able to deliver. So these are the petty issues that are pertaining in our offices that puts women on the fence. But what we are saying now, due to this bill, is that every woman who deserves it should be given the opportunity. We should make an effort, a conscious effort, to meet that threshold of a 30%. So what it is that equity comes in for me before equality, as I indicated earlier. Equality is saying that we should all be given the same threshold. So if I have a pen, two big pens, and you are giving us, you give Enima a big pen, you give me a big pen. But probably I have nails fixed, and I cannot use the big pen. But I need another pen with a different stylish outlook so that it can fit into my fingers properly to write. Equality is saying that give us the same thing. So you've given us big pen, whether mine writes or not, you don't care because you've given us equal things to use. But equity is saying that what you give Enima and you give me, you should also look at it this way. What you've given us, will we be able to use it? Do I have any special need that needs to be addressed so that I can be on the same level with Enima?
Okay. So, I mean, I like what you're going to. So, in our working environment, we have menstrual issues, we have pregnancy issues, we have children issues, upbringing issues, and all that. It means that equity is requesting or is demanding that consider these issues of the feminine and give them some special treatment or special recognition of these, of these biological makeup, so that they can equally produce as men, right?
That is it. So, for instance, at the workplace, as women, you know, when you are pregnant at a certain point, most people are very vulnerable in their first trimester. They may even lose it. But sometimes the office setting is such that you either rush in or you lose out. Meanwhile, as a human race, the onus is on women to keep it running. We didn't choose to become the people to give birth. We didn't choose to become the people who make the humanity race continue. But by virtue of the fact that we cannot control our biological makeup, we would have to go through that process to keep the human race in existence. But because of that biological makeup that I find myself in, it shouldn't put me in a level where the men
in a deprived.
Exactly, the men have the opportunities over me. Sometimes you go for a maternity leave for 3 months. While you are on the leave, your male colleagues are competing in your absence. You come back, and because you went on a leave, they don't even consider the fact that you are capable and you can deliver. But just because you went to give birth, you are denied certain opportunities. And then sometimes to most of these office spaces, for me, I think most of the issues that need to be addressed has to do with infrastructure. Because if we are looking at issues, let's just be conscious of a certain issue, a lot of issues, to be honest. We look at the ministries, for instance. There are a lot of facilities there, a lot of women are there. But have we thought of the fact that these women drop their children in school? The children close around 3. They have to always rush out of the office to go pick up their kids. And it is also a certain upbringing, and they belong to a certain sector of the government. Every child is a government
But
property.
let me dare ask again, and if Larati is watching the program, I'm sure by now she's giggling at my questions. Why do women want to put themselves in so much pressure? And sometimes I make reference to the Islamic religion where, well, there are excesses of their practices, but under the normal sense, it is because the men wants to take up the harder jobs, have the women take the back seat, just be home, and let's dirty our hands and bring the food home for you to enjoy. Why don't women want to be Oga wife?
How many people in our economic setting are Oga wives? Even the Oga, at a point, I always say that even the sea, when it rains, it enters the sea. They have water in abundance, so what do they need rainfall for? But it enters. In our economic dispensation, one person's income is virtually not enough. It's not enough because in the olden days where the women were at the back seats and men were doing all the job and bringing food home, we didn't have these economic situations pertaining. Most households didn't have a car. Probably it was a small community setting with about 15 houses. Our farms are about a kilometer away. We pick pepper, onion, plantain, cassava, come home and eat. That is all living is about. The woman wakes up and sweep. The man goes to the forest to hunt. But in this day and age, bills have to be paid. We have to pay electricity bills. We have to pay water bills. The children have to go to school. They have to feed. You have to pay rent. Gone are the days where everybody was jammed up in the family house because the population was not even as huge as this. Yeah. So if we want to be at par with the developed world, it means that every human resource we have to be put to use. And women are a human resource too. If we look at the number of women we have in Ghana, and then imagine putting all of these women to use. Look at how beautiful the country will become. We have diverse opinions.
We have. I watched a video that was teaching about how scientifically it has been proven that women's brains have the capacity to multitask.
Exactly. Growing up,
as compared to that of men.
Growing up,
and no offense to you men.
Oh yes. Growing up, I grew up in a family where baking was a major occupation. So I see my mother and my aunties rush every morning. They do that puff they put in the oil around 5 a.m. People take out. Around 7 a.m. we have atadre milk, tiger nut pudding that people take out to sell. Around 6 o'clock, tea bread is available. And then around 10, they are back on it again. And my aunties go to sell cloth at the same time. At the same time, we come home, they take care of our homework. They take us through our homework. They sweep, they cook. What the men do is they go to work and they come home. They sit down, they get served. Their water to even bathe is taken to the bathroom for them. The women, so they do a lot of things. So if one person can do all of these things, then why not put them to use on a large scale so they can be beneficial to the whole nation and not just the household? So that is what this bill is about. Put women to use and make them more beneficial towards nation building.
Right, let me come back to Grace. Your mic is now fixed.
Yeah. So the affirmative action bill is finally passed, and I'm very personally happy about it because it's been lingering, like I said earlier, on since 1998. I thought it was never going to see the light of day, but thank God we are seeing what we are seeing. So the United Nations has a
considering
threshold.
the fact that Parliament is more than half men.
Exactly.
So we thank them.
We thank them for giving us the nod. At least now we have a backing. We have something in law that says we can also have equal opportunities to the men. Being a woman, I'm glad this is a female panel, we are all women. Being a woman has a lot of things that comes with it. Louisa has spoken extensively about that. And the fact that the United Nations threshold of 30% is not even met, it's something else, it's sad. Because even if we are able to meet the 30%, it means the 70% is still going to belong to the men. And that is a huge gap over there. But at least 30% would have made a headway, it would have come a long way. So when you look at our women representation, like you said earlier, it's less than 15%. And I think all over the world, when you look at women representation in Parliament, Ghana is 119th in position. That is also woefully inadequate. We can get better. There was a picture that used to circulate some time ago about how men and women pursue their goals and how fast each one is able to get to their destination. So, that of the man, you see a man that is just set, ready to start a race, ready to run. So you see him squatting, and then his goal ahead of him, and then you see a straight path, a very straight and smooth path up to his goal, up to his goal post. The same picture for the woman. You see the woman squatting, getting ready to start the race, and then before she gets to her goal post, you see a dry line with clothes hung on it. You see cooking utensils. You see kids in their school uniform. You see, a gas stove with food on it. You see a whole lot. It's just telling you that the path of the woman is not as smooth as the man in terms of pursuing our goals. But then if we are given equal opportunities, like now that we have the Affirmative Action Bill, and we know we have a back end, we'll be able to come out, and then with all the obstacles that we face, with our biological makeup, that normally gets in our way in terms of getting things done, we'll still be able to match up to the men and also do very well. So since our path is not that smooth as our men, like I said earlier, one doctor said on a show that what a man has to do, what a man requires to do, the time that a man requires to do something, a woman requires 10 times that time to do same, because you'll be met with a lot of obstacles going forward or trying to pursue your goal. And then, Anne, let me quickly run you into this TVET education. You know we have free senior high school policy now. By the grace of God, we also have free technical vocational education training. So now technical education is also free. Growing up, growing up in Kumasi at the time, you would see only guys going through technical education. You wouldn't go to any technical school and find girls. It doesn't mean there were no girls who were technically inclined. I had cousins who could fix televisions, cousins who were females who could fix televisions, fans, fridges, and all of that. But they had to coil into their shell because that was a pressure for the guys. So even if you try to do something, if you try to touch the television, oh, something is spoiled, oh, let me check if I can do it. So once we had that in our minds, the narrative growing up. Yes, exactly. So for instance, I never ventured, or I never had the guts to try to even get close to electrical gadgets, because they've told me it's for boys. It's boys who fixes electrical stuff. Now we have girls in our TVET schools, in our technical schools. When you watch one of our TV stations, national TV stations, there's a transformation agenda, something on TV in the evenings in terms of our education sector, in terms of our education in Ghana. And now we have girls venturing into TVET education or technical education. And some of them were interviewed and they said previously they thought they couldn't do it because they thought that was for boys. But now, when they took up the venture, when they took up the challenge, when they took up the opportunity, they realized that they had powers, they also had that technical skills vested in them. They also had that skill vested in them that they could also do something technically inclined. I didn't have the opportunity. Even growing up, the narrative, my mindset, I had that mindset of technical stuff are for boys. So I never even ventured. When the DVD was brought to the house, I never knew how to even slot in a CD and watch a movie. But now the narrative is changing because of how the world is changing. And like Louisa said earlier on, being a woman comes with a whole lot of responsibilities. Taking care of the home, taking care of kids, cooking. If you are married, that is even extra work. Cooking for your husband, caring for your children, and doing a whole lot. And then when there is an issue, or when things do not go the way it should go, you are the one that will be blamed. There was also another aspect of my growing up where anytime there was a marital issue between a husband and a wife, the verdict always went in favor of the men. They would tell if it had to do with cheating or having kids outside the marriage, they would tell the women to take it like that. That's how men are. So you just accept it and then stay in the marriage. So it's a whole lot. I brought in that just to tell our viewers that being a woman isn't an easy task. God made us this way, and now that we have a law to support us in our daily endeavors, it's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction, and I believe it will go a long way to help most of our women who have called into their shells, who have been told they can't do it because they are women, to come out of their shells and also rub shoulders with our men and do something for society.
When it comes to all these marriage and relationship issues, I think there is. I'm not sure. I mean, you can help me or remind me if I'm wrong. I think some years ago we passed a law of being in a relationship with a person. If it's up to about 5 years and you break up, then you're entitled to compensation. As a woman in Ghana. Okay, so it is there. Tornado is laughing. You know, you're going to break somebody's heart. Well, I'm not even sure. I think we didn't really talk so much about it. I mean, I remember something like that.
I also remember something like that.
I'm not saying because I'm a girl. Okay, but let me just quickly use this opportunity. As we're talking about women, it reminded me, there's this lady, PhD, Angela Tebri, who was pursuing global mathematics competition. And I think I went through her journey when they started at the lower levels and then they rose to the final stages. Now she actually has risen to become the world's most interesting mathematician. So this is what the story says. Mathematician Angela Tebri, widely recognized as Math Queen, has recently secured a title of world's most interesting mathematician. The contest, known as World Most Interesting Mathematician, was organized by the big internet Math Off and took place from July 1, 2024 in the United States of America. The competition comprised 16 mathematicians from around the world, lecturers, researchers, entrepreneurs, authors. Tebri emerged as a winner in this year's competition. Tebri has been acknowledged for her pioneering work in mathematics and her creative methods of tackling mathematical problems that are complex. Tebri's journey towards becoming a renowned mathematician started at a young age when she discovered her love for numbers and problem solving. So Tebri has also been tenacious and persistent in her pursuit of a career in mathematics, despite the challenges and stereotypes that she faced as a woman in a male-dominated field. You already know, right? So upon graduating from the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Ghana in 2024, Angela furthered her studies in enrolling in the International Center for Theoretical Physics, that's ICTP, postgraduate diploma program in mathematics. While in ICT, she applied for and received the prestigious Schlumberger Foundation faculty for the Future Fellowship in 2015 to fund her PhD in mathematics at the University of Glasgow, UK. She graduated from the University of Glasgow with the PhD in mathematics in June 2019. And currently, Angela serves as a research associate with a focus on quantum algebra and holds the position of academic manager for the Girls and Mathematical Sciences program at AIMS Ghana. Ms. Tebri is responsible for organizing Science Slam Ghana, a science communication event where researchers present their research to a non-specialist audience at an engaging and entertaining manner. So, and this manner that she actually, you know, does her things, especially mathematics, it will help children who have phobia for math, you know, to gain some interest. So I'm actually saying this on this platform because I know after she won, just a few people know in Ghana. Yes, just a few people have heard of it. And once you're here, I'm sure you can, you know, put in a word for her on behalf of the whole country, so that she can get some contracts. You know, Tebri, I'm you know, lobbying for you. I don't know her. Please, people, I don't know her. I haven't met her. I only saw the context when she was gunning for votes. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And you know, I have the tagline, do the math. So when I saw her, it was very interesting for me. So I decided to, follow through.
To chip in on what he said,
yeah.
That you are talking about her.
Yeah.
And you are trying to lobby for Enima to put in a word since she is in government and all that. I believe that as women, this is what we have to do.
Oh.
Women support women. I find it very interesting in this era where we say that women are their own enemies. No.
Don't mind the men. They are the ones who are saying that.
Women support women. Because if you go to the market, it is women who go to the market and buy from women. So from the old ages, women have always been supporting women. It is women who take their cloth to seamstress to sew for them. Women always patronize things their fellow women are doing. So these things are just carved out for women to think that we shouldn't be supporting each other based on some petty things. And they say it over a period of time, and it is becoming our reality. So as you are supporting the maths lady, I believe that we have a deficit as far as women are concerned with these STEM issues, science, technology, and then maths and all that. So if she has an interesting way of making people do the maths, why not? We have to put her on the map and make sure that she impacts the lives of the kids we are trying to raise. So that in the near future, if we want to raise a lot of engineers, we cannot take maths out of it. If we want to raise a lot of coders, a lot of people in ICT, we cannot take maths out of the equation. And I'd want to say on this platform that it is long overdue that women would want to sabotage other women when they try to rise. What it is that if your fellow woman is able to break the glass ceiling, she leaves the door open, it becomes easy for you to walk through that door later. So on this platform...
Professor Nana Jane once said that statement, and it meant a lot to me. She said, if you have the opportunity to enter through the door, keep the door open for others to also enter. And I thought that was very interesting. That is it,
because if we would want to be all about, we need this opportunity, we need that, you are giving the opportunity, and you shut it and you don't even allow other women to come here, then why are we shouting affirmative action bill and all that? It is time for the people who are taking the lead. If you want a lot of women to be in parliament, people who are parliamentarians, as we are young here being in politics, we would have to be the torch bearers. Show other people the way for our kind to be more. Because if you're on the decision-making table, your opinions are heard, and you provide solutions that will fit your gender the more. So on this note, women support women. If you're a woman and any woman is venturing into anything that you deem it fit and the woman is competent, please add your voice to it and let's raise our kind.
So, okay, so Angela actually is the founder of FEMA a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting female African mathematicians via interviewing and sharing the stories of math queens to inspire young people about the various career opportunities available when pursuing a mathematics education. Angela also recruits and trains math queens for hand-on mathematics outreach activities targeting high school students in Ghana. Additionally, she is involved in initiatives such as Science Intense, National STEM Day, and is it Y3P? I don't know how this is pronounced. It looks like it's written in mathematics, but it's like it's Y3P3MIN, and the way it's written, I think it's a mathematical term. February 2024, Angela, who was chosen by the Falling Walls Foundation for 2024 Female Science Talents Intensive Track Program. Out of 20 exceptionally talented scientists selected of 15 countries, Angela was one of those chosen for this one-year mentoring program, and which fosters female leadership in science, business, and society. So she actively mentors young students, particularly girls, inspiring them to pursue their interest in STEM fields and overcome hurdles within the mathematical community. I was so proud when I saw her post on Twitter. I couldn't wait to share. In fact, when I shared, she came to say thank you.
Oh, nice.
Matter of fact, it is what even got me more interested. I'm like, oh, she responded. Yeah, she's PhD. So, yeah, so congratulations wherever you are, Angela, and thank you so much for making Ghana proud. It's such a, I think it's just such a big field to put the country on the map at this stage. In math, Charlie, you tried. So, yeah, thank you, Angela, and congratulations. So let's have people like this. You know, me, I'm the type that I'm always saying that don't tell me you're a woman so they should give you priority.
Yes.
Prove it.
Competent.
Just prove it that you can, you know. Yeah, I mean, your works will show that you don't even need to beg. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So, Angela, proud of you, and thank you so much for this work that you have done. All right. So that's just a bit, and we hope that authorities will pay attention to Angela Tebri. I think she's on Twitter. Her handle is at Angela _Tebri. I think you can check on X or
Angela
Twitter. _Tebri. Yes, that's her handle on Twitter, and so she is the global reigning champion of interesting mathematics. All right. So, well, on this note, we'll take a breather. When we come back, Founders Day has found us here. We'll be back shortly.
Again.
Hello, thank you for calling MTN.
This is Jerry, Jolly J for short.
How may I help?
I'm not happy with you guys at all. You've been giving Bongo gifts all the time.
Who is Bongo?
Oh, Bongo, my friend. He purchased in my room.
Oh.
You've been giving free gifts, but I don't.
That's MTN Rewards, Talk, text, browse, and more, and you get to redeem free call time or data by simply dialing *550#. And on Fridays, you can even get extra special rewards like food vouchers, shopping discounts, and much more.
Didn't tell me anything. Would you like to know how I got the name Jolly J?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Jolly. Calling customer care service doesn't give you points.
I'm gonna call my mom. I'll call my grandma. I'll call my ex. That girl can talk, Papa. Hello, Mama. So what's the topic for today?
Blast. Exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Now let me tell you why you should choose Safari Valley as your conference destination.
The new conference building combines modern amenities with the tranquility of nature, providing the perfect backdrop for your next seminar and corporate retreat.
The only conference destination with so many activities. You don't have to travel to visit your tennis club, the gym, or the stables. They have it all.
Enjoy this rooftop viewing deck, basking in the sunlight with the sight of wild animals roaming freely in their natural habitat.
At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
It's a unique experience that sparks creativity and rejuvenates the mind.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Papa is walking.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Hey, baby, a son of a beer. Nanso, yare etimi sapa dom yare.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Bar Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Bar Herbal Hospital.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone. Luck it's missing opportunity to be the luckiest. It's time to put some smile on your face. Still asking what luck means? At Luckiest, we believe it's more than just chance. It's joy waiting to happen.
Let's go.
Dial star 712 hash. Now password to tickets not as a group, individual and as a community. Now participating in the Luckiest from the 1st of July 2024. Grand draw near 30th November 2024. Luck is everywhere with the Luckiest. The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform and is not for persons below 18 years. Terms and conditions apply.
I think it was more interesting than even what we said on air, but it's all about how we will make sure that we make education interesting and not to create phobias around subjects like math and science and things like that. They are the basic need for life. You know, today people will be asking, but me, the simultaneous equation and the algebra expression that I did in school, I don't know how I'm applying it. Venn diagram. I don't know how I'm applying it. Well, people are applying it, but they don't know that they're applying. Right. So in your life, always do the math, you know. Anyway, so Betway Cash Out says, Ayosoko. Now, Betway is giving you way more controlling bets of everyone you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana today. Betway without any hassle. So sign up to it today on betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18 and it's regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Now, Blue Jeans energy drink is also on the market, and for 20 years it has been here with you, and you already know that it contains nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best, and Blue Jeans energy drink is for the bold and active men and women. So go and grab a can today and power your day. It's in shops nationwide, Cash and Carry. Contact them on Cash and Carry Limited on 0208-128-190, 005-001 and 0000. That's also another contact. You can contact the Blue Jeans energy drink. That is budget, cash, and carry on. Okay. His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo spoke yesterday to the nation, addressing us on, remember, it's August 4. It was August 4, today is August 5, and hence the holiday, because the August 4 holiday fell on a weekend. And before I play his video, which I'm sure it is standing by now, CPP released a statement, and it says CPP rejects His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's unfounded founders claim. Okay, so before that, let me play the video. I'll come back to the statement.
August 4th is a day that should remind us of the values that have guided us through the years. Respect for the rule of law, observance of human rights, including individual freedom, and the pursuit of a free democratic society. These values are a reflection of the vision of those who founded the Ghanaian nation and have been crucial in shaping our national character. The sacrifices of our forebears have given us the open society we enjoy today. We are a democratic nation, governed on the basis of the separation of powers by the rule of law and respect for human rights. The Fourth Republic has proven to be the most enduring because it is the republic, above all, that arguably has given the fullest expression to the aspirations of the men and women who gathered in Salt Pond on that faithful day in 1947. In recent times, after the predictable initial turbulent decades of our post-independence checkered history, we've witnessed great changes in Ghana. Our economy has grown, our infrastructure has improved, and our society has become more inclusive. We've made impressive strides in governance, education, healthcare, and technology, and we continue to build on the foundation laid by those who came before us. The economic growth we have experienced, despite challenging moments, is a testament to the resilience and entrepreneurial spirit of the Ghanaian people. The difficult economic conditions notwithstanding, which we are rapidly leaving behind, our social services are functioning, our businesses are thriving, our industries are expanding, our agriculture is performing strongly, and our global trade relationships are strengthening. This progress is the result of hard work, innovation, and the policies that have created a conducive environment for economic development. As we celebrate Founders Day, let us recognize the importance of maintaining this momentum and continuing to create opportunities for all Ghanaians. Our infrastructure has seen remarkable improvements, from roads, bridges, railways, to schools and hospitals. We've made considerable investments in building a modern and efficient infrastructure network. These developments have not only improved the quality of life of our citizens, but have also positioned Ghana as a hub for trade and investment in the region. As we move forward, let us continue to prioritize infrastructure development to ensure that every Ghanaian has access to the resources and opportunities he or she needs to succeed. Inclusivity is another area where we have made substantial progress. Our society is becoming more inclusive, with greater representation and participation from women, youth, and marginalized communities. Fellow Ghanaians, good evening. Tomorrow, Sunday, August 4th, we will be celebrating Founders Day, a day that holds great significance for our nation. As we reflect on our journey as a people,
it is imperative that we acknowledge the events of August 4th, which have indelibly shaped our history and our identity. On that day, 127 years ago, in 1897, during the heyday of British colonialism, the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, ARPS, was formed at Cape Coast. This monumental event marked the beginning of a conscious and organized effort to preserve the rights of indigenous Ghanaians against the depredations of colonialism. The Aborigines Rights Protection Society laid the basis for the political awakening of our people, advocating for land rights and pushing back against the oppressive policies of the British colonial administration. Their courage and vision set the stage for future movements that will strive for greater autonomy and self-determination. The formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society was both a reaction to the immediate threats posed by colonialism and a proactive effort to ensure that the rights and dignity of our people were safeguarded. The Society's enlightened leaders, Jacob Say, Joseph Casely Hayford, John Mensah Saba, Kwabena Sechi, J.W. de Graaf Johnson, and J.P. Brown, amongst others, understood that the land was not merely a resource, but also the very essence of our identity and culture. They organized petitions, held meetings, and mobilized communities to resist the arbitrary appropriation of land by the greedy hands of British colonialism under the 1897 Crown Lands Bill, which led to its withdrawal. Unlike in the case of our brothers and sisters in Eastern and Southern Africa, whose deprivations continue till today, we never lost control of our lands because of the intervention of the Society. Their work was proof of the power of unity and collective action in the face of adversity. Fast forward to August the 4th, 1947, exactly 50 years later, another seminal event took place. The formation of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC, the convention at Saltpond. This organization, spearheaded by illustrious forebears, marked a turning point in our quest for independence. The UGCC brought together a coalition of leaders who shared a common vision of a free and prosperous Ghana. Their efforts culminated in the eventual birth of our nation as an independent state. The UGCC, the first nationalist organization to articulate clearly the demand for freedom and independence, was born out of a deep-seated desire for self-governance and an end to colonial rule. The leaders of the UGCC, the convention, George Parr Grant, Dr. J.B. Dankwa, R.S. Blay, Emmanuel Obechebi Lamte, William Ufuriata, Edward Akufo-Addo, Ebenezer Akwaje, Kwabena Kese, Kwame Nkrumah, and others, recognized that true freedom could only be achieved through political action and the mobilization of the masses. They worked tirelessly to educate and inspire the people, organizing rallies and meetings to raise awareness about the need for independence. Their message resonated with Ghanaians from all walks of life, sparking a movement that would eventually lead to the liberation of our nation, encompassing the birth of the Convention People's Party, CPP, which led us on the final lap of our journey to freedom. Tomorrow, as we commemorate these historical milestones, we pay tribute to successive generations of Ghanaians who contributed to the attainment of our national independence. It is most appropriate that we have chosen this date to honor their sacrifices, their resilience, and their strong dedication to the ideals of freedom and justice. I speak to you this evening rejecting completely the notion that Ghana was founded by one man. Whilst Kwame Nkrumah's contributions to our independence are undeniable and unassailable, it is important to acknowledge for our self-respect that the struggle for our nation's freedom was a collective effort spanning several generations. The formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, the British West African National Congress, jointly sponsored by Joseph K. Hayford and Thomas Hatton Mills, the United Gold Coast Convention, the work of countless unsung heroes, and the tenacious...
All right, the accepts of His Excellency's statement. Now, the CPP says, fellow countrymen and women, children, and admirers of great Osajifo, the great and only founder of our great country, today is our solemn day in history of our dear nation, a day where we are once again reminded of the attempt by the New Patriotic Party government to whitewash the history of this country for its own parochial interest. So it is not surprising that on the eve of this day, the leader of this nation, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, whom the CPP accords all the respect due to the president, should come out with such an unfounded claim, coming so soon after a statement on the MPP campaign platform where our great founder was referred to as Monkrumah. It is evident that the president and his party have concluded that they want nothing to do with the great Osajifo, his vision of true economic, social, and political freedom and prosperity for Ghana, Africa, and the marginalized worldwide. To reject Osajifo, the founder, as a founder of Ghana, on the weak basis that the struggle for our nation's freedom was a collective effort spanning several generations is indeed unfortunate gaffe, and it would have been thought His Excellency would have been more selective with his words in these last days of the MPP's administration, especially after mistakenly referring to His Excellency, the former President John Dramani Mahama, as his vice only a couple of days ago. The MPP is indeed a party of inaccuracies and massaging of facts on all fronts. So the whole world knows who Osajifo is, and he founded this country in a name and named it Ghana, after the old Ghana Empire on the eve of our independence of 6th March 1957. So this was after countless attempts made by the antecedents of the MPP, made up of Dr. J.B. Dankwa and other elements of UP tradition to stop Ghana from gaining in independence. Thus, no amount of rejection by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo can change that. So what will be resoundingly rejected due to the bad and harshly propagating policies and corruption is the MPP government at the polls come December 1724. Ghanaians will continue to defend the Osajifo and his progressive vision, and no amount of rejection by any individual party or foreign neo-colonialist element can stop it. Forward ever, backward never. Yen Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana for Kwame Nkrumah. Signed, Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sogbojo, Chairperson, Convention People's Party Independent Committee. Now, Louisa, because you're here, a little as captured by Dr. Omani Boama as well. Now, he says, of needless August 4 holiday in Nkrumah 1966 overthrow and Zongos. This is a holiday set aside by the Akufo-Addo government to obliterate, albeit without success, the primus inter pares status of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah is a founder of Ghana, full stop, and that the full stop is in brackets. The MPP efforts have failed because Osajifo's stature is worldwide. The Pan-African world and the African Union adore him. Moreover, world leaders and the world as a whole acknowledge his unmatched qualities as a leader. National Cathedral. On this day, I ask you to suggest what Nkrumah would have done with the Olympic gold medal winning National Cathedral wasteful pit. On Zongos, And while at it, recall that the Aliens Compliance Order, wickedly orchestrated by the implemented by UP, that's the MPP tradition, which emptied our Zongos by sacking people, the Dankwa Busia tradition deemed as foreigners became possible after overthrow of Osagyefo government. The Dankwa Busia looters then forcibly looted and possessed John Dramani Mahama when he says he will restore July 1, the day Ghana became a republic, as a holiday. Scrapping MPP's imposed August 4 as a holiday is necessary. Notes, okay, for the notice politics, so I'll leave that out. Okay, and he attaches documents, letters that were signed by J.B. Dankwa during his time, you know, trying to oppose the fight for independence at the time, and also the poster of Vote Dr. Dankwa and vote no to Republican Constitution, Save Ghana Now. Okay, so that's also the poster that you have on your screen. All right. So it has been, I think, a cyclical debate every year. Ghana is 67 years old now. We still are yet to find our feet. Sometimes we want to compare to the 200-year-old democracies, yeah? But if some democracy is 200 years old and it's already been implemented, it's easy to copy blueprints, right? Yeah. So we don't have to waste a lot of time to also be 200 years before we gather some common sense or something, you know? So that's just a point I want to make. But let me come to the guests and see. Let's continue the cycle of debate. All right, so Grace, I'll start with you. The president has spoken, and he wanted to set the record straight by laying the foundation of the history before we actually gain independence.
Okay. So, Anne, this whole thing about Founders Day, I know previously it was celebrated on 21st September. That also happened to be the birth date of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo proposed a legislation to Parliament that a new date be set for the celebration of Founders Day. And of course, the founders previously was Founder _S Day to commemorate Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's independence for Ghana, and then his birthday. And then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's proposition says we should have founders after the S, apostrophe after the S.
Plural founders.
Yeah, yes. To also celebrate the immense contribution of the others, yes. The long fight to independence was a whole lot of work. Every Ghanaian, yes, he's our Kwame Nkrumah, he's my Kwame Nkrumah, he's your Kwame Nkrumah, everybody's Kwame Nkrumah. Every Ghanaian celebrates Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, I met two Cameroonians some time ago, and they seemed not to know anything about Ghana until they had the opportunity to come and study at the National Insurance Commission at the time. Madam Lydia Babawa was the commissioner at the time. So I met this Cameroonian lady, and she said she didn't know anything about, she knew next to nothing about Ghana. Even when her dad asked her to come and study here, she knew next to nothing about Ghana. But then she knew about Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as leading us to the fight for freedom, for independence. You know, it wasn't just his fight. He was with other people. You know, the UGCC was formed on August 4th, 1947. The president made mention of it. Before that, we had the Aborigines, Gold Coast Aborigines Rights Protection, also formed by lawyer John Mensah Saba on August 4th, 1897. So the president is simply saying some other people also contributed to the fight. In fact, when you go into history, deep down into history, I don't want to maneuver. I don't want to, I don't want to digress. Yeah, but then I may have to chip that in. That Nnamdi Azikiwe actually recommended Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to the Big Five at the time. That he was good. He was a student in London at the time, and then they sent him money to come down. He came down and became the General Secretary of the UGCC. Until later, he formed the Young Pioneers Movement and went to form CPP. So it started from somewhere. There were people who were already fighting for the cause of independence before Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah came down to join the fight. He did immensely well. He contributed immensely. And then his contributions cannot be overlooked. In fact, in terms of infrastructure...
Let's not lose the fact that he was brought on to contribute.
Okay.
Let's not lose the fact that he was brought on to lead the fight.
Yeah.
He was brought on to actually propel, because
a-
some characteristics were recognized by our history, of course, we were not there, about him. That he was a personality that was doing wonders in some land, but he is a blood of this land.
Exactly.
Bring him to come and champion. So he was brought on, and then he championed it. Right. So it's not just as in everybody is, we're sitting around a table and everybody is saying something.
Yeah.
Somebody is taking charge of something.
Yeah.
Where I am at a loss is, at what point did the fight against independence started? Because if you were already trying to establish Ghana, and you brought on someone to come and lead the fight, and the person actually came and was pursuing that and thought that this was the right path for us to take, at what point did you decide to fight it or to oppose it?
So, at what point they decided to fight or oppose it? I don't think there was any point where anybody tried to oppose or fight and decide to fight the struggle for independence. The point we are trying to make, or Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, is trying to make, is that in as much as Osagyefo's efforts were immense and cannot be overlooked, we should also take the other people into consideration. In fact, when you look at our local currency, the paper notes, you see 6 people on the notes, notably the big 6. So Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, plus 5 other people who led to the struggle for independence. Yes, he led, and there were others who supported him. I always talk about this woman on the 50 Peswa notes. She is very much under-celebrated. Dede Ashikisha. I learned she was one of the major financiers of Osagyefo.
Yeah.
But how often do you hear of that woman? How often do we even talk about her? Yes, Osagyefo championed the cause. Somebody financed it. Other people were behind him. They gave him the nod. They gave him the push. And then maybe he did the greater part of the work. But then we shouldn't overlook those who also helped with the fight. You know, a country that does not celebrate its heroes is not worth dying for. So, Anne, you sat here and then you spoke extensively about Angela Teburi. I was very proud of what you did. I was very happy. I felt very happy within that you are celebrating a fellow woman. I was hearing of her for the first time, honestly, yes. And then you said you were calling on me to try to tell my people that there's an Angela Teburi somewhere. This government has instituted a STEM education so that we can have more Angela Teburis going forward. These days, we have girls who are venturing into TVET education or going into technical education because TVET education is free, and now they know they can also do something. So you do all these, and then later when Angela is seen, or Angela is given some national recognition, she's given an award, or she's given something. We can't talk about Angela. I wouldn't talk about Angela without mentioning your name, because it was through you I got to know Angela. I got to know there's an Angela Teburi somewhere. Louisa also confessed that she's hearing of Angela for the first time. I'm sure most of your viewers are hearing of her for the first time. So the point Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is trying to make is that, yes, Osagyefo championed the cause. He did very well. We are proud of him. In fact, I feel very proud as a Ghanaian, not because of just being a Ghanaian, because of Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and even the fact that he linked Ghana's independence to the total emancipation of the African continent. He's known all over the place. He's known all over the world. I personally wish he had stayed a bit longer. I wish his government had not been overthrown so that he could actually champion the cause of the Pan-Africanism that he was doing. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I believe in his ideologies and all of that. So Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is saying that we had Obeche Bilante, we had Akwaje, we had William Oforiatta, we had J.B. Dankwa, and then we had the other one is Edward Akufo-Addo, his father. Why is it that these people are not given a mention on Founders Day? Why is it that it's all about Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? They need to be mentioned as well. They need to be celebrated as well.
So let's dwell in your simplicity in terms of the Angela Teburi situation.
Yeah.
So I mentioned her. You didn't know about her.
No, I didn't know about her.
It's a fantastic example. Ghanaians didn't know about Nkrumah. Now these men mentioned him and they brought him on board.
Right? Even a Nigerian.
Right. So Angela Teburi has been mentioned now. I mentioned her.
Yeah.
If Angela Teburi comes on board and is engaged and is now put in a situation where she has to lead, say, a masses of students or youth or women to champion math, science, whatever, and she is successful and she is awarded, then I'm now in some corner crying that why are you not mentioning my name? That's exactly what's happening. I mean, yes, at some point, if someone is telling this story, I will be mentioned, you know, somewhere. But I am not Angela Tebri. Yes, I mentioned her, but I didn't do what she had to do something even for me to recognize her.
Exactly.
You understand? So that is where we are lost. I mean, it is just as simple as that. If we want to even talk about founders of Ghana, way before Nkrumah came, there was the Ghana Empire. Yeah. We have all the list of the leaders. We can mention all of them. Yeah, people have been pursuing because, well, the land was discovered at some point. People fought for the land and all that. Then we have to mention everybody. But at the point where Ghana gained independence, there can only be one leader.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah, and I understand. There can only be one leader.
And you see, unfortunately, no matter how you want to, clear the argument or clear the air, a lot of things have been done that is pointing to the fact that why are you trying to, remove this man from the picture?
You're coming, Nkrumah.
Sort of. You are changing dates. You are, making comments.
As for the dates, I would like to come in.
He made it twice. I'm sure you've seen him. We played the videos here twice.
Yes, I have seen it.
It's not an accident.
Maybe he is anti-Nkrumahist. He is not an Nkrumahist. You know, not everybody at the time was Nkrumahist. Not everybody believed in the ideologies of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. However, he was the leader to our fight for independence. In our fight for independence, he led it. So it was something like, if you can't beat them, join them. Even if you don't agree with him, he's championed the cause of independence for Ghana. Yeah. And if not for anything at all, Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African country to win independence. Right. Anytime I meet my Nigerian friends, in terms of their size, their population and everything, we'll argue why and I'll reduce them to that thing. Yes, we won independence before you. And it really gets to them, you understand. So look at the case of Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nigerians hold Nnamdi Azikiwe in high esteem. However, I had this auntie who is a Nigerian by marriage, on my mother's line. And she comes to Ghana from time to time. Occasionally she comes. And about 20 years ago, there was this little girl that she used to come with, Anna. So you ask Anna to mention the founding fathers of Nigeria, or tell you about the history of Nigeria, how they won independence. So Anna will start by mentioning Nnamdi Azikiwe. And then she'll come down to mention Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Folorin Shaw, Ransom Kuti, Murtala Mohammed, all of those people. And then she'll tell you Nnamdi Azikiwe led or champion the cause of Nigeria's independence. However, she can't talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe without mentioning all of these people I've mentioned. So the point Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, is trying to make is that, yes, we celebrate Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And, in March 2019, the Public Holidays Amendments Bill was passed. And then this 4th August was instituted. But then 21st September still remains 21st September. It's still a holiday, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so we still celebrate Osagyefo. And then remember him on his birthday, celebrate his birthday, and then we do the things that we used to do. We haven't stopped anything. We've instituted 4th August, or the president proposed a legislation to institute 4th August because he wanted others to also be celebrated. That was the only thing we did differently. However, the 21st September still stays, it still remains. We still celebrate Osagyefo on that day. Nobody can take that from him. His immense contribution towards independence, everything that he did to bring Ghana where we are now, is still celebrated. We are just including other people who also helped. And now we use your platform to propose that Madame Deda Ashikisha be given a special place in the celebration. Yeah, her head is on the 50 peso note. I don't think it's enough because most Ghanaians, especially the young ones who are coming up, do not know anything about that woman. She lost her life in the course of fight for independence, and I learned she was one of the major financiers for Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So, yes, he did most of the work, but he also received help from other people. So those people need to be given a mention as well. And I'm sure if their contribution wasn't really significant, or it didn't really matter that we don't talk about them, they wouldn't have their heads on the notes, on our legal tender as well, our notes as well. So it's not far-fetched for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to say that, to propose that we have a new date, which has come to stay, which has come into being, to celebrate other people who also helped. We all learned about the Big Six, and didn't you learn about the Big Six? Louisa did same, I did same. Yes, it means their contribution were immense as well. That is why we got to learn about them.
They've not been dejected or
forgotten.
Of course, they not.
That's why we learnt about them.
Yes, they've not been rejected or forgotten. You see on the note, Osajefo's head is bigger than every other person's head. It tells you something.
But they're not safe. You are taking this note out of the system. That's what we are told. That's what we heard.
I'm not aware. They are taking this note out of the system so that they have one for Osajefo alone.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know about that yet. Okay.
I don't know.
So Anne, I don't think it's really a problem. I am for it. I am happy. In fact, I had that reservation even before the new date was instituted. That those other ones were under-celebrated. They were, you know, they were kept behind something. They were covered. You didn't really hear. I know people from other countries who don't really know much about the big five. The five in addition to Osajefo that makes up the big six, and it's not fair. It's just the right thing to do. It's just fair that they are also celebrated, given a special place on Founders Day, so that their names will be heard and then be mentioned as well, so that the upcoming Ghanaians, the younger ones, will know that the fight was, yes, Osajefo championed the cause, but the fight wasn't won by him alone. There were other people who also contributed their quota one way or the other.
You've been smiling. I mean, let's recognize the other big five. Is that a problem?
I'm still struggling to recall. That's why I was quiet and smiling. I was taking my memory back to primary, to JHS, to secondary school, where the names of the other 5 people were eliminated from history. I'm still struggling to get that narrative. As young as any Ghanaian child can be, in the social studies class, now they have the citizen, well, they've changed the whole curricula, so they have a different thing than we had. Social studies class right from primary school. They tell you there was a big sis, there was a UGCC, there was a CPP, and they tell you that the CPP was Akoko, as a child who schooled in Kumasi. So I am surprised this morning that as a child who schooled in Kumasi, in the old, I was trying to recall. That I'm remembering where they said CPP was Akoko Red, and then there was a UGCC, they were 6, and then they wanted independence within the shortest possible time, and then the man who did it for us said self-governance now. So I'm recalling how Enima is going on and about it, that we should also mention them and all that. I'm recalling where in history that their names were eliminated. They've always been celebrated. But one thing that I find amusing, that I think we are not paying too much attention to, is the fact that President Akufo-Addo and his family members are on a spree to make Ghana as if Ghana belongs to his family and Ghana is their property and should be willed to them. I say this because whenever he talks about these things, he makes particular emphasis on his father's name, particular emphasis on his uncle's name, to make it look as if Ghana belongs to his family and they're entitled to whatever happens in this country. I mean, let's think about it in this context. I am Kwame Nkrumah. I was in London, UK, and learning, doing marvelously well there. And then back in my hometown, there were issues, and then they wanted to be independent. They come to call me, I come. And then in the midst of it, I realized that they are taking us on a trajectory that will not give us the results we are looking for. That is the path that President Akufo-Addo and the MPP erased from the history. When he came, he saw that this crop of people are not taking us on the path that they called me to come and be a part of and champion.
Which he was championing
exactly.
in the UK.
That is why he came back with his own new mantra, self-governance now. We needed it now. And then through that self-governance now, we got independence. So what is the president saying? It is so, I don't know the president's notion and why he thinks that Ghana's history should be centered around his family. What the president
is saying is that when you came, there were already people who were fighting for self-government or self-governance, and they only brought you on board to, lead the fight. But maybe, I think where they went different ways is how he wanted it now and how they wanted it later.
Okay. So their later could have even been now, 2024. And we will still be here chanting.
We didn't know.
Exactly. There was no time.
So if you were not ready, you don't go for someone who was hungry to go for it now. Okay.
I'm sure they didn't know he was that.
Okay. So then that was bad judgment, because he was championing African emancipation, not even Ghana. You understand? Yeah.
The other parts of the whole story that doesn't add up for me is how President Akufo-Addo and his other family members are quick to mention the names of their relatives as if Ghana belongs to them. And you see, if we want to talk about the heroes of independence, then my great-grandmother's name should be mentioned. Because my great-grandmother was an activist. It didn't take one individual to get up and fight. The Ashanti Kingdom were fighting the British. There was a Fanti Confederation. There was an ex-servicemen union and all of that. All of these people came together, and it took a lot of Ghanaians at the time to all say that we are fed up and rally behind them. That is how come they achieved it. So must we put the pictures and the images of all Ghanaians who are alive then on the flyers they are sharing?
No.
Because every single Ghanaian then.
No, put the caucus that led the fights.
There
was a small caucus that led all these confederations.
Right from the Ashantis and how they were fighting the British to gain their own personal freedoms, from the Fanti Confederation, where other tribes fought with the British so they could gain their ethnic independence and all of that. So if we are talking about the independence of Ghana, we all agree that it was a collective effort of all the citizenry then. If one person gets up and starts shouting, I want to be independent, and nobody responds, who is independent? It took everybody to come on board to become independent.
In fact, you remember when Nkrumah... Okay, you finish. I'll ask.
So I would want to ask Anima this morning. In 2016 till now, when they wanted to change, they say that they wanted change, free SHS, they were going everywhere shouting, saying things that were not supposed to be, that posterity has even exposed them big time. The election, I know Anima contributed then. I know a couple of people who contributed for the MPP to win election in 2016. Is Anima saying that according to what the president is saying, the president's thought process, every single person who fought and contributed to him becoming president in 2016 to date should also be called president? If that is the idea, then every single MPP person who went out to campaign, who contributed a penny, a dime, to make sure that the NPP became successful and won the election 2016, for the President Akufo-Addo to be called president, those individuals should all be called presidents, because it is a collective effort. It didn't take only President Akufo-Addo to stand on the podium to say that he wants change, to say that Sidinaya Hata. It didn't take only him. There were people who were with him. Should we call all of them presidents? It cannot be so. There can always be one captain of a ship. So if Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, as he is, our Sajefo, Okojia mind, he came, put everything on the line and made sure that we won. And these same people, the family members that President Akufo-Addo wants to project, he is eradicating that part of history that says that his family opposed him. They were his fierce opposition. So if today, that process and the trajectory on which Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was taking Ghana, that development path that he was putting us on, that got cut off at that instance, if everybody wants to find out why Nkrumah couldn't continue, it is because of the family members of President Akufo-Addo. In that book that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah authored before he passed away, he says a lot about how they fiercely opposed him. Most of them were alive then, and none of them could come out to counter that we didn't even do this. The same Nkrumah that they are targeting now built the Akosombo Dam. When he was building the Akosombo Dam, what the President Akufo-Addo's family members, that this morning he is telling us that he fiercely rejects that notion that there was only one founder, that he wants to put them around our necks by false founders. They said that the Akosombo Dam was too big and Nkrumah was wasting money. They didn't know that that same Kwame Nkrumah, that head, saw that in the future Ghana would develop, our population would increase, the size would increase. So he was doing that for the future, but these same people fiercely opposed him. So if Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had listened to them and their fierce opposition, as they are doing now, everything good that comes to this country that is not coming from them is bad. So they must oppose it and destroy it. Today we are here, and the same Akosombo Dam is what is giving us electricity. They talk about roads. This is the year of roads. You walk to Tema Motorway right now, you will see that the concrete roads that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah constructed that we are still using, because in his own wisdom, when he built Tema Harbour, heavy duty trucks will ply that road. So he should make it some material that will be worth it and it can last for the nation. These people are patching it with bitumen. That's why my old woman will say coal tar. These people are patching the concrete road with coal tar. The same person that he is saying is not a founder now brought us the Kotoka International Airport, which somebody that they also claim to be incompetent added Terminal 3 to it. What have they added to it? They only want to add a gate. It is an e-gate that they can give to that airport to give it a facelift. And today they say what? Kwame Nkrumah no. That same Kwame Nkrumah no expanded the University of Ghana that we see now, that he also wants to name after his family member. So every good thing that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did, he wants to claim it and put it under the name of his family members to make it look as if Ghana belongs to them. But this morning, I also want to beg to differ, Mr. President. I also reject your notion that there are a lot of founders, and it is not only Nkrumah who is to be hailed. We agree that a lot of minds came together. But if we are looking for who gave us that independence on the 6th of March 1957, it can only be one person. Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And that is settled. There is no debate about that. And we move on to our currency and how he's strategically changing everything. And you realize that the 2 Ghana cedi notes had just the image of Nkrumah. Where are those notes now? Strategically, he replaced it with a coin. So as time goes by, that note will be out of the system. And then we will only have that of the big 6. His father must by force represent. His uncle must by force represent. Every single person he said here, I don't know Anime's background, I don't know your background. But I don't think our ancestors were that evil. That when Kwame Nkrumah was fighting for independence, they were opposing him and they said that, no, we want to remain as we are. We want to be stagnant in this fight. No. Every single household here who had ancestors then, who are Ghanaians, had their roots contributing to it. So the currency, must we all have our faces on it? No. It takes one person.
But the big 6, the way we studied about the big 6, especially in schools, the big 6 is like a household caption. You can't, you can't talk about Ghana's history and leave out the big 6. So if the big 6 are found on our currency, what's wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong with it, as you put it. But there is everything wrong with it if they want to change the narrative and twist history to suit their family members. That we will not take. Their family members started UGCC, we all agree, perfecto. But as I said earlier, I want to reiterate that fact. They were taking us on a path that said within the shortest possible time. That shortest possible time could have been now. We also could have been here and our children would have still been under that captivity. And the still shortest possible time, you will still be in that shortest possible time. And then probably by now, King Charles will still be heading us. But it took Kwame Nkrumah to say self-governance now. It took Kwame Nkrumah to make us independent. It took Kwame Nkrumah to make us a republic. That holiday that they have taken away. So I don't really know what this narrative is about, trying to by force make it look as if we have not celebrated the big 6 enough. When President Kufuor was changing the currency then, the big 6 had their images on it. Yeah. Did they not? Yeah. Did anybody complain? That's a celebration. We are celebrating them enough and recognizing the fact that they contributed to the fight.
But why was Kufuor so unbothered about the whole celebration, whether it's September and all that about Nkrumah, and all of a sudden, Grace, I think you should answer that question. And all of a sudden, Nana had a problem with it. No, because he didn't champion all this. Let's change this date to that, and let's change the names of universities to these people. Let's change names and
President Kufuor is Kufuor. Nana Danko Kufuor is Nana Danko Kufuor. They are not the same.
Exactly.
Okay. And then, Anne, you made mention of the fact that there was a caucus. I was very happy when you made mention of the fact that there was a caucus. Yes, it took a whole lot of people. You said Louisa says her grandmother was even an activist. I'm sure if I go into the annals of history of my family, I'm sure I'll find
yes.
Exactly. We can't have everybody's face on the notes, but then we can have some notable ones on the notes because they did some exceptional work. They were in the caucus. They championed the cause.
I'm sure
if not for anything,
I'm sure people are thinking, but Annie, your great grandfather was part of the caucus.
Yeah, you see, everybody's family. When you dig your history, I'm sure you find something. Who didn't want independence? Who wants to be under British colony? Who would have loved to be under British colonial rule?
J.B. Dankwa didn't want it.
They want independence.
Yes, but he wrote a letter, and the letter is there. Thank God, by our generation, we can still see.
Well, anyway, J.B. Dankwa represents J.B. Dankwa. There were other 4. I'm sure they wanted the independence.
No, but then you are
that is where your party was
then
born
you are digressing because it is the same thing that His Excellency is even championing.
No, I know about the fact that no, it's not like he wanted it, but then Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said self-governance now, and probably they were looking at self-governance in a more later.
They said in the
shortest
possible time.
And so
what is the shortest
possible time? Is any time shortest possible.
You see, leadership takes a lot to take bold decisions.
Exactly.
You cannot say, okay, I have a meeting with you. You've come and I'm not there. You call me. You're not here. Where are you? I'll be there soon. Is that good enough for you? Me, if I have a meeting with you and give me that answer, I'll be very angry.
Because
where
I'll be there soon could
I'll be
mean
there soon. Yes.
Later in this.
Oh, I'll be there exactly by
at this time
or 8:30. Do you understand?
Well, sometimes people don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. So they'll tell you they'll be there soon, and then they know probably. So you see, Louisa, Louisa was actually like going into infrastructure in terms of infrastructural developments, and she was talking about Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah built Kotoka International. Now I know I'm very much sure Louisa is very much aware we have an international airport in Kumasi that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has brought into being.
That's my party started and championed.
Oh, but which one did your party not start? Your party seemed to have started everything.
Started and championed.
How did your party start?
Phase 1, who commissioned it? Who started work?
And now we have
Phase
Sunyani Airport, we have Tamale International Airport, all under this government. We have whole airports that you left to its fate that we've come to put into being.
How did they leave it to its fate?
No, but they started the paperwork, and then we saw the sites deserted and everything, and then we came.
Power changed.
And then we came to complete
Power
it.
changed.
No,
but when you also say that they deserted, you have to be politically correct.
So power changed, and then we came, and we didn't say it was started by the NDC.
You are obliged to do it.
Yes, and we did it. Yes, and we've done it. At least we can talk about whole airport. We can talk about Sunyani Airport, Prempeh the first international airport, Kumasi, and then some other notable ones. So having a day or setting a different day to celebrate these 5 men in addition to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, I thought Louisa was going to look away from politics and then at least be neutral on this one, because we are talking about Ghana and independence, and there wasn't anything like NPP or NDC at the time. We just had CPP and then other ones. We are talking about people.
We had the UP tradition.
We had the UP tradition and all that. That's why I said other ones. So we are talking about people. Yes, their faces are on the notes. But Anne, how often did you hear of them being given a mention on Founders Day?
How often do you want to hear them?
Just like we are doing now. Now, in our history books, we have given them a place in our history books. We learn about them in school. We do all of that. But we are saying that on Founders Day, we shouldn't celebrate just Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We should celebrate the 5 as well. If not for anything at all, we know about the big 6, and the 5 adds up to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to make the big 6.
Okay.
So is this too much to ask for?
Do you know Nelson Mandela?
Yeah, I know about Nelson Mandela.
Why is he being celebrated, or is he celebrated by South Africans?
Yeah, because Nelson Mandela, yes, the long walk to freedom. Yeah, he went to prison for about 27 years. But Anne, when you go to South Africa, it's not just Nelson Mandela that is celebrated. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and then some other notable ones are also celebrated.
Yes, but you know that South Africans will not put Archbishop Desmond Tutu to Mandela.
I've not really.
Every nation, especially with Africans that were colonized, every nation have that icon that stands out.
Osajifo remains that icon. Nobody is taking that from him. And has anybody who can fight the fact that Osajifo is the icon when it comes to Ghana's independence? Who can fight the position of Osajifo as being the icon of our independence? Nobody can take that from him. generations now, generations to come, nobody will be able to take the place of Osagyefo Doctor. You can't replace his position with any other person. Like I told you about Dede Ashikisha and then the immense contribution she made towards our fight for independence in terms of money, in terms of financing the
her picture
finances.
should be on the flyer too.
No, that's not the point I'm trying to make. We can't have everybody's picture on the flyer, but we can't also having the big five or giving them a mention on Founders Day or celebrating them on Founders Day to make it not look like Osagyefo did the fight alone. It's also not far-fetched. It's also not too much asked for. You understand? So, and I thought Louisa, I was thinking Louisa could have looked away from politics.
If
not for anything, today is Founders Day.
Beyond Big Six. There's some mention of numbers, which I say.
Okay, however we came by the Big Six. However we came by the Big Six, or whichever way whatever brought us to the Big Six is what we are talking about now. Yes, there were other numbers, and then we didn't hear of the Big 10 or the Big 20. We know about the Big Six. So the Big Six should be celebrated on Founders Day because they all helped to fight for independence. Yes, even though one person championed, because one person did a greater way. That is why he is the icon. That is why he is the Louisa. Louisa is trying to do mischief. Is he not more popular than all the others? He's popular. He's known everywhere. He's celebrated everywhere. But here in Ghana, we are saying that the other five need to be celebrated. You know, Akwaje died in 2002 or something. I didn't even know the man was alive. You see, Akwaje could have been celebrated, given some form of national. You know, I never knew about him. I never knew about his existence until a public announcement was made of his demise. And I think it was not fair to him because he was also part of the struggle for independence. He contributed his quota one way or the other. So that is what the president is saying. He has got nothing to do with his family. How many of the Big Six constitute his family? William Oforiatta, Edward Akufo-Addo, and then J.B. Dankwa. They are just three.
So you're okay. Three. So you're saying that Nkrumah led us to independence and therefore founded Ghana. But there were other supporting members.
And that is why he was the only president of Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
So these supporting members should also be recognized. Even though at the time Nkrumah was championing independence, they fought against it, that we don't want it now.
They wanted it at a more later.
So, but we still
it didn't mean they didn't want independence.
So fine. But the difference is that they didn't want it now. They didn't want at the time Nkrumah was fighting for it. However, once Nkrumah has fought for it, and we want it, we should still mention them.
Oh, but the fact that it's also not fair to say that the fact that they didn't want it now did not mean they didn't want it.
So when you
projected, that's J.B. Dankwa wrote.
Yes.
There is this line in the last but one paragraph. I don't know if they
okay, can we have that letter, the J.B. Dankwa letter? So my question really is, okay, I think you can go through. It's an old, script, so. Please pardon us. All the copies I'm getting, they are not so clear. So, okay, I think I see it clearly here.
Self-government now, and if rejected to declare positive action, strikes and boycotts. There has been hectic activity all over the place, and on Sunday, we of the UGCC met at a great meeting and turned down his challenge flat.
Yeah.
So it meant that self-government now, whatever thing that Nkrumah was doing, they were fiercely opposing it. So if we have independence now based on Kwame Nkrumah's ideologies and his tactics, we shouldn't let people who fiercely opposed it all of a sudden become heroes in it. They started, as I already indicated, a lot of people helped in the
fact that they started is what we are talking about.
Many people, before they started, and before they formed UGCC, people have already started. That's why I took it back to the Ashanti Empire time, where they were fighting with the British. A lot of people, there was a Fanti Confederation. People all over the place were fighting for their freedoms and their independence. They wanted to control their own natural resources and make their own decisions. So it didn't start from when they created UGCC. People wanted independence before they even created UGCC. So if they fiercely opposed Kwame Nkrumah with the self-government now, and even had to write a letter to that effect, opposing him.
What actually, and this is to Grace as well, what led to the general elections which were held in Gold Coast, soon to become Ghana, I mean, on the 17th of July 1956, and the results was that, which this has been a bit of some debate also on some media platforms when they are doing analysis. You can imagine how the debate actually goes. Okay, so the results indicated that Party CPP and MPP or UP at the time, Party CPP won 71 seats, and then the Simon Diodon Dombo won, that's the MPP, won 15 seats at the time. So there was clearly a different path that these two political parties wanted to take. Do you understand my point? So CPP took that path and decided to champion. This was 56, before we were declared 57 independence, right? I mean, we have even done well, have we not, by still recognizing the big six till date. Why the fight?
We are not fighting though. Why do we still have their names in our history books? Why do we learn about them when we go to school? And do you think the fact that J.B. Dankwa wrote a letter to whatever happened, Louisa was reading the letter. Do you think if that really mattered to historians at the time, they would include the big five, or they would include their names in the history books? Then they would have found a way to remove them or give them a less mention or less recognition.
Will we be celebrating independence now?
Nkrumah was now what?
If through this letter he was eliminated,
and he wasn't eliminated,
would we have been celebrating? Exactly. So
well, we cannot be projecting if clauses because we don't know.
Yes,
we're not
what
there.
I'm saying.
We probably wouldn't have had independence.
So we shouldn't be saying that, be making. Enima, we understand your point.
Unconditional.
We understand your point.
I'm glad you understand my point.
But the facts remain simple. It took the self-governance now mantra to win independence.
And of course, somebody else contributed, whether or not he was for the self-governance now or not. They contributed. That is why they are given a special spot in our studies in our schools. That is why you learn about the big six and not the others. Yes, there are others that you choose. But then they are given a special spot because of their contribution. If not for anything at all, they brought him from London. They funded his coming. He became the general secretary, and some way, somehow, he became the frontliner and championed the cause of independence and said self-governance now, which the people bought into, and then we saw it in the light of day, and we won independence. But you can't overlook the fact that whether they were for the self-governance now or not, you can't overlook the fact that they also contributed.
So it's like, oh yeah, even though we're against it, it's fine. Let's all.
Exactly.
So when he was opposed it, no. So at the point when he was,
that one I don't agree with.
So at the point when he was declaring the independence, where were they? At the Independence Square?
Were they not the ones in the Fugu who were standing beside him?
No. Did you see J.B. Dankwa there?
Well, I don't remember their face.
J.B. Dankwa's face is very common.
Was he not?
Go and watch that.
Was he not late?
He's not there.
No. Unless he died in prison. Well, I need to look into that history.
That video.
They were not
Bedema and Co has surrounded him.
I mean, there were different people.
I know Komlak Bedema and then
readily recall all the names. But
I remember Komlak Bedema was there. Yeah, they have surrounded him. Okay.
Yes. So at the point I'm just trying to make is at the declaration, even at the declaration, there was no agreement.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they were not seen, maybe they were in the crowd. They were in the crowd. Louisa, this one day.
All right. So
you're not being fair to our big five. You, Louisa, this morning, I'll let them attack you when you get out. She's not being fair to them as well.
All right. Chumbuafo says that, Annie, why stop at 6? Why don't we add Sergeant Ajete, Corporal Tipo, and Private Odate Lamte, and others who were murdered at the Christian Board crossroads? Why don't we add Pa Grant for being the one in whose house the UGCC started? Why don't we add Jacob Wilson Say, who wrote the check that financed the deputation to Queen Victoria that abrogated the Land Bill Act of 1891, if it had stood, would have turned the Gold Coast into another Rhodesia. So indeed, the reputation gave rise our Land Tenure Act, and that allowed the indigenous people of the land to own it. I could go on and on till the break of dawn. See the absurdity and plurality argument. The Dankwa Buziazist will not change our history. we will restore Republic Day as promised by President Mahama. We will change the the fascist Matimehu narratives that Napo and his ilk have placed in history books for our children. And we will place Kwame Nkrumah back on the rightful pedestal where it belongs. I am disappointed in Nehemiah. I have a question to her.
Hey.
You campaigned actively for MPP to come to power. Have you gotten some ambulance money? It's not an argument of mutual exclusion. Someone had to be the spearhead, and the spearhead was Nkrumah. But then again, sounds like she's from Ofie. Enough said. Do you know Ofie? Okay. Enough said.
I know Ofie.
Yes. So it's not just Africa. Mahatma Gandhi, Ali Jinnah, Mao Che. Is this man's name? Is it Tung or Tang? George Washington, Oliver Cromwell, Conrad Adenauer. I will go on and on and on. Almost every Republican country and even constitutional democracies have iconic lead founders and not pluralistic. I won't mention the word. Well, that's actually the point I was trying to make, that every republic, there is that icon that you cannot compare. It's a non-starter argument. And no matter even, at the point where these people were ruling, not just in Ghana, all other African countries that were fighting for independence, they had oppositions. Yeah. They all had oppositions, people who were against them. But the nation agrees that as for this person, whether you were opposed or you were against, you don't have a choice but to, go with us. Yeah. Anyway.
On that note, can I ask Anima a question? Anima is saying we should give credence to people who start a course and then you continue. It is a fact that President John Dramani Mahama launched Progressive Free SHS before election on 7 December 2016 that they won. Why is it that President Akufo-Addo never mentions President Mahama's name in the fight or in the policy of free senior high school and his contributions as far as the infrastructure and all the other things he did to contribute to the policy is concerned?
Which one did you launch? Is it the Nanado one or
the Progressive Free SHS?
You launched the Progressive Free.
Whichever the case is. So it's the same as, hold on, and let me land on my question. Okay. It's the same as the UGCC's self-governance within the shortest possible time. So there are two different things, but still, you want us to give the credence to the UGCC.
Yeah, but the point I want to make is, if you launch Progressively Free,
what does that mean? You come back to tell Ghanaians that free SHS is bogus. John Dramani Mahama, October 2012. The free SHS by the NPP is a political gimmick. John Dramani Mahama, 2016, UCC, on UCC campus. That's why I'm giving you the dates. Free SHS will collapse. SHS education system. John Dramani Mahama, okay. 23rd
in 2016.
Okay, so
was the free
SHS? So you talk about progressive free SHS, and then you go back to
I'll get back.
How many times didn't you people walk out of parliament?
No, wasn't
launched. So these are headlines that were sent to me by Halidu.
You can't stick to
it says Northerners don't need an international airport. Abu Ramadan. This was a website story. Northerners don't need an international airport. Abu Ramadan again on City FM Online. So the MPP lady must not claim credit for Tamale Airport. They condemned the construction of the airport. Kindly read the above story. Yeah, but he's trying to say that it was there was a sword-cutting event for it. Okay, so from our history, the list of those who were paramount in the fight for independence is tall. They include Pa Grant, Kesley Hayford, George A. Kim Ferguson, R.S. Blay, Agri, Awolon Williams, Mensa Saba, Joe Appiah, and the rest. In fact, we could end up with the big 20 or more. So, why the big 6? Before Christ, there was John the Baptist. His disciples also sacrificed their lives and even older prophets. But after the death of Christ, we now talk about the followers of Christians. But the president appeared angry as he, so that people don't take me out of context. I was actually going to ask that if you...
Did you see my face when he was talking?
That's why I asked you why you are looking at him like that. If you are a communicationist,
he looks very serious.
And
no,
this
one. Louisa, this one, not let you get away with it. No. President Akufo-Addo has that serious demeanor.
Always.
Yes, he's always looking like that.
No.
Even in 2012, 2008 and 2012, we had to talk to him about how he looks. Sometimes he looks too serious. Even when he's happy, he looks serious. So that one, don't go into his demeanor. Just leave that one out of
and when he was mentioning the names, he mentioned Nkume's name last.
When he was mentioning the names, he did what? He mentioned Nkume. I didn't notice that.
You didn't?
I only noticed. No, I didn't notice. He mentioned Kwame Nkrumah. He didn't bring the Osajifo doctor.
Oh, I thought the Osajifo. I don't have a problem.
Whether he mentioned it
Kwame out, it's still Nkrumah.
Whether he mentioned it last or in the middle of first, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is still Osajifo doctor. He's an icon.
Okay. So this one says that
and don't forget, the 21st September is still in existence. We haven't changed that.
So if we agree that NDC wanted free SHS after proper structures were in place, but the MPP wanted it immediately, and therefore the MPP must be credited with who started free SHS.
It wasn't possible. You walked out of parliament.
But the argument
was not possible.
So okay, so this one actually is trying to say that.
Bogus.
If self-government and irresponsible time are two different things.
We didn't say
are the same thing, and you want to claim recognition.
We didn't say independence was a political gimmick.
Progressively,
we didn't say it was bogus.
They wrote a letter even saying that Nkrumah's self-governance that was criminal.
Yeah.
They wrote a letter.
No. They walked out of parliament countless number of times. When we want to introduce the talk tax, they walked out of parliament. Any social intervention policy we try to introduce, NDC will oppose it, fight it to the last drop of their blood, and when it sees the light of day, they will say they contributed. Now you're talking about progressive. I'm even surprised.
Right, Mansa Musa from UK has sent me a lot, but Mansa, I'll just take some few time to read. It says that
Mansa Musa.
Yes, the reason we're struggling to understand the history of Ghana's independence is because most of the real history books and documents were destroyed after Nkrumah's overthrow. Later on, documents have been falsified and altered to include and favor certain concepts. So the real history will have to be brought back and be taught to this current and future generations. The founder of Ghana is not the hundreds of agitations Gold Coasters. The founder is Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah never dies. For Mansa Musa, and let it be known that the Big Six is a flawed, made-up concept. On the day, it wasn't 6 people arrested. There were 8. The story goes that there was not enough room in the helicopter carrying them to Tamale. Otherwise, we should have big 8. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that even the Big Six, there's another history that has 8, a number of 8 people. So Ani Obechebi Lamte was actually accused of plotting to assassinate Nkrumah. So do we have to celebrate him as well? J.B. Dankwa was asked to suggest a name for the new nation. He suggested Akanland. How can J.B. Dankwa be a founder of Ghana?
This morning, my hands are tight.
Yeah.
Do you know how J.B. Dankwa died? Do you know how he died?
Yes.
Anyway, I can't go into that.
Okay, you want to say something to how he died?
No.
They would have another narrative.
No. This one, which other narrative? How can you twist history?
What did he do before he was in prison?
I know he died in prison.
Yeah, but what did he do before he was taken to
let's
prison?
not go into that.
No, then you will understand. We'll understand it better.
No, it's fine. My hands are tight.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's all tie our hands.
I've already done.
I saw a post on social media. I wanted to read it, but I think my network is a little slow. But Grace, in your capacity as spokesperson on infrastructure for government, I want you to help us understand this thing that's happening. GIPC. They've notified us that they are relocating. Now, there's also the controversy about the payment of rent and all that. So this story captured on GBN. It says, GIPC says it has no tenancy agreement with Gold Key Properties in 6.7 million Ghana cedis rent saga. Now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, moved out of office space it occupied for free into a private property where the rent increased from 3.25 million Ghana cedis to 7.6 million Ghana cedis. way above 100% increment within 3 years. The entity has said it has not signed a formal tenancy agreement with Gold Key Properties, the new landlords. The center has faced intense scrutiny and criticisms over the controversial decision to relocate from the free public office space to an expensive private rental facility after Ghana Business News expose on the matter. The expose had reported that 65-year-old Reginald Yofi Grant, who is the chief executive officer for the center, persuaded the board of directors to relocate from the Public Service Commission building to the facility managed by Gold Key Properties Limited, which is owned by Kweku Bediako. GIPC is now paying a significantly higher rent, with the cost increasing from 3,505,840 Ghana cedis in 2020 to 7,594,213 million Ghana cedis in 2023, over 100% increase. But the center claims the rent hike is due to inflation and currency fluctuation, despite regulations that limit rent increase 10% under Ghana Rent Control Act. Surprisingly, the GIPC, when asked to provide a tenancy agreement with the property owners, said there is no formal tenancy agreement between the center and Gold Key Properties, raising concerns about compliance with laws and regulations. The GIPC response does not provide satisfactory rationale for the move. The organization claims it cannot provide information on the rationale for the move or lack of tenancy agreement. Critics, however, argue that the move contradicts government's effort to reduce public expenditure, especially as a country in the dire economic straits. Public policy experts and economists have expressed concern over the decision and called for parliamentary scrutiny and investigation into the decision-making process behind the relocation. As the controversy continues to unfold, the GIPC faces mounting pressure to justify its action and address the growing skepticism from the Ghanaian public over the use of taxpayers' funds. And it goes on and on. I can read it. It's very long, by the Ghana Business News.
Anne?
Yes. What did you gather about this?
I was able to gather a little to nothing about the issue.
Okay.
It's a developing issue, and I can't do a guesswork. I can't sit here and then say something from my mind.
Yeah.
In fact, when I saw it as part of the topics yesterday, it was actually, it was yesterday my attention was drawn to the fact that I know they've moved from their space to a new location around cantonments. But then I know that they have their internal PR that does the communications in terms of why they moved, and then why they chose to go to that space and pay that amount of rent. So I would rather they come out and then educate the public on why this move. And you said an economist, in your reading, you said an economist has proposed that Parliament looks into the issue, scrutinize the whole thing, and then try to get to the root of it. So I would rather sit back, or myself and then my bosses, we are seated back, relaxed, and then when they come out to tell Ghanaians why they took this decision, and probably they will have a reason why they moved from their space to where they are now. So when they're able to tell Ghanaians something, then we can come in. For now, government has not really gathered any information for communication purposes on the move that they have taken.
But how is this difficult to give us a tenancy agreement?
They haven't given any tenancy agreement.
Yes, I mean, surprisingly, the read says, surprisingly, the GIPC, when asked to provide a tenancy agreement with the property owners, it said there is no formal tenancy agreement between the center and Gold Key Properties, raising concerns about the compliance and laws and regulations.
So we'll have to look into the issue and then get answers from them, and then we can follow suit.
Is it right for any Ghanaian to be angry at this? At this?
Yes, it's right for any Ghanaian to be angry at it. However, if they're able to come out with tangible reasons why they've done what they've done, then maybe Ghanaians will be cleared in their minds about why they did it.
Okay. Okay. So we are not the ones conjuring that they are moving. They notified us. And the notice, okay, I think we can put it on the screen when it's ready. for you to know that GIPC notified the public that it was moving. And that's maybe for purposes of those who want to do business with them, it's very important for you to know that they move from A to B. Okay, so that's what you have on your screen. For the public as well. Yes, for public education and information. It's necessary for you to know. So, so the Ghana Business News decided to go into it and brought out this.
Once they made this public, I'm sure they can also tell Ghanaians why they choose to pay so much as rent. Yeah.
Okay.
They're the best people to answer that.
Right, Louisa.
At least for now.
I'm not surprised at NMS posture. You see, there is one thing that I always say as a young person who would want to venture into politics. I don't know the motive for which others join, but my motive is simple and clear, that politics is the process through which we get people to govern us. And governance is about making decisions that will be beneficial to your citizenry. So anything that falls short of your citizens having benefits, that has an element of corruption, an element of recklessness, an element of mismanagement, is a rot and shouldn't be condoned. So if this morning I sit here and I realize that said building they were occupying, nobody sacked them from the building. It is a public space. You are not paying for the space. You are just there to work, and probably some minute utility and other maintenance, sweeping from the reports, sweeping and then dustbin, payment for throwing out garbage and all that. Those minute things are the things you pay for. Why move out? It has never been established that the building had issues or the building will collapse any minute from now. So they have to move out so the building will be repaired.
Well, we don't know yet, because remember the Bank of Ghana building, when we were questioning, the Bank of Ghana officials told us that, well, it's because the Ghana Meteorological Service or something, was it Ghana Survey?
Are people not still in
had
that
given
building?
them notice of earthquake on their line.
Exactly.
And so they had to move.
The point is, if even that was the case, it's an if clause. There are other people still occupying. Other people are still occupying the office space. So are they the only people who would want to leave? Other people are still occupying the office space. So it is proof that that place can be occupied. And then you leave, go out and rent. And when you are renting, there's no tenancy agreement to that effect. And they have increased it from a 3.25 million to 7.6. That amount is whooping. We are in a state when we are impoverished. Yesterday, I watched a documentary from one of your sister stations. They were asking people, why are the youth of Ghana leaving Ghana every minute? And the issues they mentioned were that, one, they are in a difficult time, there are no jobs, and even when you start up even a small business, inflation puts your business down and you would have to fold up. So if there are better opportunities out there, they would go. What one person said caught my attention. He said, it is painful that as we are going through all this and we pay them to serve us, they are rather living lavishly, mismanaging the money, and we are the people being impoverished. They are not. This morning, if you walk into the house of the boss of GIPC, the person has eaten. There is food in his kitchen, his or her kitchen. But if you go out right now, step outside, somebody is even thinking of what to eat this morning. Even money to buy sachet water is difficult. So if they are mismanaging funds like this, if we have this money to spend, there is a public building. Why not make use of it? This is the recklessness. So I would want to throw a challenge to Godfrey Dame. Since he is on the challenge, he wants to arrest people for causing financial loss to the state, even at the time where there is no evidence. This is a glaring evidence. There is a building they are supposed to occupy. Godfrey Dame, this is a glaring evidence. GIPC have caused financial loss to the state when nobody has sacked them from the building.
No. How do you establish
Annie, are people not occupying the building? It is a public space. People are still there. And from the reports, it says that they don't even know why they moved out, because when they were there, they were not even spending much to that tune of 3.25. Who owns the building that they are rented from that there's no tenancy agreement? And even according to the laws of our land, the rent laws, it's saying that you cannot increase it about 10%. And this is more than 100%. And you as a government agency knows the laws better than anybody. And you still go ahead to pay rent of that amount. Is that not mismanagement? Is anything more than causing financial loss to the state? If this is financial loss, this is the definition. There is a public edifice. Use it. Why then go rent when we are impoverished? Did the government not say that they are cutting down on expenditure? The media budget review, they said they are cutting down on expenditure. So if you are cutting down on expenditure, why then do we waste in other sectors? So please.
The irony is that this is done by Ghana Investment Promotion Center.
I mean, I rest my case.
Okay. I'm wrapping up. 1 minute each on the Japadia document.
Japadia document. So who's starting?
Start. Your president
Ali,
denies.
This until your hands are tied.
No, my hands are not. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. At least, as far as I'm concerned, I know in 2017 it wasn't a Japadia document. It was Achim Mafia plan.
In 2017?
Yes, it was.
So you saw it in 2017?
No, I saw it in 2017. I know this is not written by us. We wouldn't. And have you gone through the book? So for spelling mistakes, even my former boss's name was spelled wrongly. Kojo Oponkroma, common Kojo was spelled wrongly. So I know we had Achim Mafia plan. They had Achim Mafia plan in 2017. That said that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, upon assuming the position of the presidency or upon becoming president of the Republic of Ghana, would empower the Achims, lessen the powers of the Ashantis, and then, just like Louisa said, maybe buy Ghana for the Achims, empower the Achims the more. And then when things did not go...
On the point of correction, I never said buy Ghana for Achim.
No.
I've never used that.
Let me retract that statement. She said, yes, empower himself and his family, and his Achim, so maybe you didn't mention Achim, but I am trying to. And then we had Achim Mafia plan in 2017, and when things did not go as planned, or when things did not go the direction that they hoped it would go, they now came back and then rewrote the book and titled it a Japadia document. Do you know why they are now calling it a Japadia document? It's because of the Japa issues that cropped up in early 2020. A Japa deal. So they changed the name from Achim Mafia plan to a Japadia document. So as and when an issue comes up, they update the book to suit the issue. And you have a book that has been written. Yes.
Who are they?
And this is now. There's propaganda that they are doing. Because this is not the first time. Before President Kufuor assumed office, there was a book they titled the Ashanti Project, the Great Ashanti Project. That in the book they wrote that when President Kufuor becomes president, he will empower Ashantis and then move the sea from Accra to Kumasi, sack all the occupants of the Zongo communities to go back to their countries. They stole so many lives in that book. And then they also said when President Kufuor became president of Ghana, from 2004 up to 2008, your own Honorable Fifi Kwete, as the propaganda secretary at the time, said President Kufuor has sold all our gold reserves to foreigners. And then when fortune smiled on them and they won power in 2008, at a vetting where Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu and Honorable Atachia posed a question to Honorable Fifi Kwete about the fact that he said all our gold reserves have been sold by President Kufuor, and that the fact that they asked him if he's been able to establish any evidence to that effect. He said he hadn't been able to establish any such evidence, and that what he said was actually a lie. And then they were asking him if he's been able to use the same platform that he used to destroy the man's name and tell such a palpable lie. He's been able to use that same platform to establish the fact that he didn't have any evidence to what he said. He said he couldn't do it on any platform, but he did it with a more greater platform, which was his mouth. They said the same thing about, they also said President Kufuor had a white lady by name Gisela Yazi, had twins by the woman, and they were called Paul and Peter. And President Kufuor has been out of office for close to, 16 years now, and we haven't seen any twins or anything to that effect. We heard of Hotel Diwawa.
But the Gisela Yazi story, did it emerge from the NDC?
Yes, all of it. Now, where else? Yes, all of these propaganda come from the NDC. Okay. Because they had a book written to that effect.
So you wrote that book?
So now, yes, they wrote that book. And I'm saying this Ejapa document is also written by them. I'm coming, let me land. Let me land. Louisa, let me land. Let me make my submission. And then you have a book, you say you call it from a Team Mafia plan, you now have a JAPA document. So a JAPA document, the first, you had a first, it was a 37-page document. As and when something happens, prevailing issues against past issues.
Then the pages increase.
Yes, increases. And then it came to 38 pages, and now it is 39 pages. And then you have somebody's documentary that Mr. Honorable Dr. Kwekwasario, I don't remember the name, that he did in 2020, copied and pasted in the that he did in 2019 or 2016, copied and pasted in the book. So as and when something happens, they come and they update it. They also said in the JAPA documents that before Nanado leaves office, or when Nanado leaves office, in his quest to empower and change them all, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta will become the next flag bearer of the NPP, and his only stumbling block will be Honorable Alan John Kwejo Chairman. Is any of them the flag bearer of the NPP now? When they realized that in 2020, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stood tall in the campaign, in the flag bearership race, they realized he could become flag bearer, and they went to update the book and now said somebody of a northern descent is likely to become the president of the Republic of Ghana. So we are very, excuse my language, as daft as we are, we wrote a book and then we published the book and we made it public. In our quest to empower our teams and make them very strong and lessen the powers of Ashantis, this kind of diabolic mindsets, you don't even put it into writing. You have it in your mind. Yeah. Nobody knows what is in your mind until you tell the person what's on your mind. Right. So when they realized that the odds were now coming against them, they went to update the book and now said, yes, it's not going to be Alan Chematin being a stumbling block to Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, but a person of northern descent, because they saw Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stood tall. They also said former Minister for Information, my former boss, Honorable Kwejo Oponkroma, will become Communication Minister, and then lessen the powers of pro-NDC radio stations, empower the pro-NPP ones, and then shut down the NDC communications, something. It's Honorable Kwejo Oponkroma, Communications Minister now. He's now Works and Housing Minister. So in the unlikely event of him, in the few months ahead of us, unlikely event of him being appointed, or in case he's appointed as Communications Minister, they will go back to the book and then update it and say, yeah, we said it. We said he was going to become Communications Minister to lessen the powers of pro-NPP, pro-NDC radio stations. So when you look into the book, you realize that as and when something happens, they come and update the book. They put some things in and then take some things out. Anybody, excuse my language, anybody in his right senses, or anybody that has that intellect to be able to read and understand, will read the book, see spelling mistakes, and even my former boss's name was spelled wrongly. Kwejo Oponkroma was spelled wrongly. Read and see spelling mistakes, and see the propaganda that they are trying to sell out to the ordinary Ghanaian to cause a disaffection for the NPP, just like they did in 2008. Yes, people believed Kufuor had sold Ghana's gold reserves until he left power, and we got to know it was a lie. Okay. And they shot themselves in the foot, and their own person came to say, the person that told that lie came back to say that he didn't have any established evidence to that effect. Okay. So this whole thing is a lie, Anne. Okay. I'm saying on your platform, don't believe it. It is a lie. Okay. Chumbo officer, that should ask you. I don't know. Okay, this one I won't read because it's really neither here nor there. But he says that, but the story of Kufuor twins came from the NPP itself. How? Should I mention names? Enima, when I meet you at Ekropong, I will tell you the names. It didn't come from who does that? Yeah, that's why I was asking you if you say something. Who points at his house with his left finger? Okay, Louisa, I'll shorten you a little, so make it brief for me.
Enima, why are you lying? I'm
not lying.
Enima would go on that tangent.
It is you that are trying to lie to tell Ghanaians that we have a book called the Japadier. Which one is the Japadier document?
I am happy she said she saw it in 2017. And just as President Mahama said, if the book was authored by somebody that you don't know, why is it that everything in the book, the president is implementing it?
That's what she's saying, that you
wait. Yes, you look at prevailing issues against, yes,
that's something. The book,
but he said he was going to become Communications Minister.
The book, I got a copy of the book in 2019. It is still the same. The front pages, the foreword, everything that they say, even the snitch issue, everything is virtually the same. Okay. So I'm wondering where the NPP went and they altered the book, and then now she is saying that.
Look at how my boss's name was spelled.
However, the cases.
It's over there at the top there.
The headquarters.
headquarters of the National Democratic Congress
written by an NPP,
it's not a publishing firm.
Like this.
So no NPP person can spell Kojo's name wrong.
No. Every NPP person can make a mistake with Kojo's name. But I'm trying
the
to say
National
that
Democratic
they look at prevailing
Congress.
issues against past issues, and then they keep on updating.
The headquarters
them.
of the
Otherwise,
National
from 37
Democratic
pages,
Congress.
it came to 39 pages.
Okay. Allow.
Anyway, let me allow you. Sorry.
It is not a publishing center where we publish books.
What's not a publishing center?
The headquarters of the National Democratic Congress is not a publishing center where we publish books. You sit in the confines of your home, and then she surprisingly uses a word that they are not daft to let us know. But I want to throw the same word back to her. Are they daft to implement a book that was published by an opposition, as she claims?
Who has implemented
this?
This
Is surprising.
We are debunking the fact that we didn't write this book. So how did we publish this?
Of Honorable Osafo Mafu would be sent to SNET. Did that not happen?
Yeah, it happened.
GBC,
and then you came to update the book that yes.
The same GBC that you make appointment. Did that not happen? It did. A lot of things in the book is happening. So I am personally looking for the person who authored the book because the person can tell the future of Ghana.
Yes,
so he should predict for Ghana to become better. And on that tangent, I want to tell Enima that if she wants to attribute every ill in her political party to the NDC, then it is very sad. We were in this country when the honorable who contested your flag bearer, that he said you beat his agent blue black in Northeast. Honorable Kennedy Japan came to tell us issues that happen in your backyard. So if issues in your backyard come out, do we stay in your party with you?
And
you do things and they come out, and you want to blame the NDC for whatever ill that you do. Then it is very surprising. The NPP should stop wasting everybody's time and pack out of the Jubilee House because they are telling us that they cannot govern the country without NDC giving them the footprint.
We are governing the country.
All right.
And let me quickly chip in this. Somebody, you know, said
this one is good morning, and help me wish a belated happy birthday to Paulina Birago of Ashaiman Timber Market from Alhaji Haruna Ashaiman. Thank you, Helena. Happy birthday to you. But Chris says that what did the forebearers of those who overthrew Kwame Nkrumah achieve for their descendants to hate him so much? Annie, how many of the so-called Big Five do you see on the podium when Dr. Nkrumah was declaring the Independence Day? So the folks in government should concentrate on fixing the economy rather than chasing ghosts of Nkrumah. I hope they don't blame him for the economy woes. Where will they put Bedema and others? The lady is struggling to defend the Japa book. Chris from Ashali Buche. Good morning. This Joe Bata says that you should provide your copy of the book, Grace.
I have them. I'll come and show you. I printed them for communication.
Okay, my time is up.
Who writes a book and names it Achim Mafia Plan? You seek for public office and you want to win presidency, and then you write a book and title it Achim Mafia Plan, coming from an Achim descent.
Okay, that's what time will allow us on this holiday edition of Good Morning Ghana, the Founders Day edition of Good Morning Ghana. Thank you for watching. Oh, but you close at 10. You are even gone past, far past the time.
A retail campaign
around the Mayawasa Central area of the National Youth Wing and the National Women's Wing. So every member of the party under the sound of my voice, today is a holiday. You can join them so we tell the good news of the NDC to the people of Mayawasa Central.
Okay, well noticed. Thank you so much for coming. Grace, thank you as well for being here with us. And thank you for also keeping faith with us. We are back tomorrow with Good Morning Ghana. Thanks for watching.